3 Kreth intercept ships.
They've stopped closing.
What did you say to them?
I gave them my name.
The posting had read, experienced pilot, cargo and passenger, reasonable rates, no questions asked about cargo, some questions asked about passengers. It had been pinned to the board at Faro Station's lower dock level between a notice about expired fuel licenses and an advertisement for a restaurant that had apparently closed 2 years ago. It was not a prestigious posting. Vea Sorn had read it 3 times trying to find the part where it became less desperate looking, and had eventually concluded that the desperation was accurate and that she was, herself, also somewhat desperate. She had hired him. His name, according to the single line of identification on the posting, was Cole. No other name given. She had not thought to ask at the time because she had 4 pursuers, a stolen research drive, and a departure window of 40 minutes. And the question of what his last name was had seemed like a luxury she didn't have. She was regretting that now. Not because of him. He had been, in the 3 days since departure from Faro Station, exactly what the posting had suggested. Experienced, capable, and notably unbothered by the fact that she had checked the cargo hold 3 times in the first hour and had not explained why. He flew the Meridian, a ship that looked from the outside like it had been assembled from other ships by someone working mostly from memory, with the particular ease of a person who had made peace with their vessel's limitations and found them sufficient. He also didn't talk much, which she had initially appreciated and was now finding slightly unnerving, because when he did talk it was usually to say something accurate about their situation before she had finished calculating it. The Kreth intercept appeared on the long-range scanner on the morning of day 4. Not 1 ship. 3. Positioned ahead of their flight path in a configuration that Vea recognized from tactical briefings as a standard Kreth closure pattern, designed to compress an escape corridor progressively until the target vessel had nowhere to go but stop. They had come out of transit suppression range, which meant they had calculated the Meridian's route rather than followed it, which meant they had very good intelligence about where she was going. She pulled up the intercept data and told Cole. He looked at it for approximately 6 seconds without expression. Then he adjusted their heading by 4 degrees and increased thrust to 80%. That heading takes us toward the Veth Boundary, she said. Yes. The Veth Boundary stellar phenomenon has an unpredictable radiation output and variable gravitational current. It's extremely dangerous to navigate. Yes. She stared at him. Can you navigate it? He looked at her sidelong with those blue-gray eyes. I've done it twice. She turned back to her console and did not say the things she was thinking, which were several. The Kreth will follow. Yes, he said. That's the plan. The Kreth hailed them 40 minutes later, when it had become apparent that the Meridian was heading directly into the boundary and not changing course. The lead ship's communication channel opened with a standard Kreth demand format. Identification, cargo declaration, immediate stop. Cole answered it. He gave his name. Both names. Vea watched the Kreth channel. For a moment there was nothing, the standard processing gap of a communication lag. Then the channel went very quiet in a way that was different from silence. It was the quiet of something stopping. She pulled up the name he had given on the galactic registry. The file that came back was not the file of an ordinary charter pilot. It was flagged. 3 flags. The first was a standard service record. 17 years, various designations. The second was a commendation file that was partially classified. The third was a threat assessment file issued by the Kreth Expansion Authority, which rated him at the second highest threat level they assigned to individual pilots. The notation read, "Do not engage in open transit. Do not engage near gravitational anomalies. Do not engage near stellar phenomena. Engagement recommended only in controlled environments with superior numbers." She looked at the Kreth scanner. The 3 ships had stopped closing. They've halted, she said. They know where we're going, Cole said. He was flying with one hand, the other resting on his knee, watching the boundary grow in the view screen, the massive swirling red-orange stellar phenomenon expanding to fill the windshield with fire and light. And they know I've come out of it before. Have you actually navigated the Veth Boundary twice? Yes. How? He was quiet for a moment. Outside, the boundary light was turning everything in the cockpit red and orange and blue. His face in that light looked like someone's idea of what a pilot was supposed to look like. Worn and certain and not particularly concerned with the fire. The boundary has patterns, he said. Looks chaotic. Isn't completely. The radiation pulses follow a sequence if you track the source points. He adjusted a control, small, precise. First time I went through I had 6 hours and a functioning sensor array. Worked out the sequence. Second time I had 40 minutes and the sequence memorized. This time I have the sequence and a better ship than either of those times, which is something. That's your plan, she said. A sequence you memorized. And experience, he said. Experience matters. The Kreth channel opened again. A different voice this time, higher rank, she assessed from the communication protocol. It said one sentence in Kreth and closed. Her translator rendered it. We will wait for you on the other side. They'll intercept us when we come out, she said. Only if we come out where they expect. She looked at him. He was looking at the fire. The sequence, she said slowly. It has more than one exit. 4, he said. They'll cover 2. Maybe 3 if they're thorough. The meridian crossed the boundary threshold and the fire was everywhere. The ship vibrating with the edge of something enormous. The stars replaced entirely by the churning red-orange of stellar forces that had no interest in their survival. The 4th is 17 degrees off the standard exit bearing and requires holding a heading that feels completely wrong for about 90 seconds. He glanced at her. It's going to feel very wrong. I have a high tolerance for things feeling wrong, she said. He almost smiled. Good. He flew them in.